Bob is a 24-year employee with the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission and works at the agency's main office on North Carolina State University's Centennial campus. Bob started his career with the Division of Inland Fisheries in 1984 as a fisheries technician, and now he serves as the division chief, so he worked up the ranks, so to speak. He received his bachelor's in biology from Augusta State University in Augusta, Georgia, and his master's in fisheries science from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. He has been a member of the American Fisheries Society since 1979, is a past president of the North Carolina chapter and the Southern Division, and he is currently the president-elect for the Fisheries Administration section. Bob.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I guess I have the opportunity to represent the state fisheries administrators for the all across the United States as a fish chief. A lot of what this talk is going to be is focusing largely on what you're going to need to be prepared for to be employed with the State Wildlife Resource Agency. And then the latter part of the talk is going to be based, it's robbed from one of my mentors, Dr. Larry Olmstead, who used to be in charge of the Duke Power Environmental Lab near Lake Norman in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's now retired and moved out west. He was one of my mentors. In 2004, he had the opportunity to develop a program for students, bodies such as you, on success. And he nailed it down. A lot of those same issues are there. They haven't gone away. They may have changed a little bit on how they're applied, but basically the principles are there, so I'm going to go through those very quickly for you. Appointment elements for the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. And again, this largely applies, I'm more closely affiliated with the Southeastern Association, or Southeastern states in the United States, but also I also mingle with the fisheries administrators from all over the United States. So I had the opportunity to discuss with them some of these elements, and largely, while they vary a little bit one way or another, they're still some of the same elements. First thing we're looking for at an entry-level biologist position, we're looking for a good quality education, which you are all getting. And typically, it's at the master's level, have completed the master's level. Myself and some of other states have gotten some really hot students that were just about ready to get their work done and about ready to write and are looking for a job, and we've hired them, and lo and behold, when they got into the job, things got so busy, they actually never completed their degree because they didn't have the time or take the time to do that. So now what states do to avoid that issue is you have your degree in hand when you come and talk to us, or you have a letter from your major advisor, from your committee, stating that this individual has completed their coursework, they've completed a major part of their writing, they're scheduled to have a defense on such and such a date, and are scheduled to graduate on such and such a date. And under those rare circumstances, we will invite somebody to interview who actually does not have their degree in hand. Experience. Get as much experience as you can while you're out there. A lot of it might be temporary, volunteer, while you're in school. Get as much different experience as you can, not just with your project, but with other projects that are going on. When I was in graduate school, I was a research assistant, so I worked on striped bass, but I had the opportunity as a research assistant with the university to work on trout, to work on largemouth bass, any other species, stream systems, lake systems, a lot of variety. That helps you a lot. Ability to communicate. That is a very key component. It's been mentioned by several others up here today. You need to be able to communicate both orally and written form. You will be dealing with the public. They will ask you some direct questions, and you will apply some direct answers to them. They won't understand it, so you're going to have to regroup. You're going to have to say it in a way that they can understand it. So you're going to have the ability to be able to communicate in many different ways. And references. Later, you're going to hear from me, as you've heard from many, is that you need to be involved in the American Fisheries Society. I can let you know for sure that all fisheries chiefs all over the United States and Canada know who the professors are that are producing these students. And when one of those students applies for a job and went to such and so university, they know who to pick up on the telephone and call and find out. So, and they do that, trust me. But in North Carolina, if you get called for an interview, there's a state application process, as many have. You have to be as complete as you can on that application process. If you want to know any more about that, you'll have to talk to me later, and I'll talk to you individually and supervisor, a research biologist, my assistant chief generally, and the local biologist talk about here's what the job is, where it is, what it's all about. Then you're going to have an opportunity to present a 20-minute presentation, much like you would be doing at one of these meetings. It can be on your thesis work, it can be on any topic that you want. We interviewed one individual 3 times. You'll see another key issue later is going to be persistence. He interviewed 3 different times, wasn't selected for 2 of them, was on the 3rd. First 2 times he gave his oral presentation on his thesis work. The 3rd time he came in for an interview, he found out who the interview board was, found out it was largely the same people. So he gave an oral presentation on his family vacation down in Florida. It worked out fantastic. All the people on the board had already seen the presentation twice, and this was something different, and it gave him an opportunity to do his communications, and he fit better for that job, fit for our agency, and we hired him. Matter of fact, we just promoted him to a supervisor last week. So those are all very important things. Then you were doing the, you'll find out I'm scattering. But we'll go through the oral presentation, and then we'll sit down and kind of have an open dialogue. We generally have a set of questions that we'll ask about specific topics, much like Aaron was referring to about, you know, if you have certain knowledge, skills, or abilities, we may ask. One of the things we'll be asking too is, you know, how do you feel about teamwork? How do you feel about working out of your home? In North Carolina and some other states, we don't have a lot of offices. You work out of your home, so you're going to be required to provide an office in your home. Do you have a problem with that? And it will give you computers, telephones, you know, all the high-tech stuff you need to have. You just need to provide space to do it. And then and then give you the opportunity to ask us any questions you want to ask us about the job. And then we give you the opportunity to go to another room, and we'll give you a set of questions, usually 4 questions. You get to pick 3 of them, and you can answer them. You'll get to have a nice, quiet spot where you can sit down and answer those questions for us, so we can get a feel for your communication skills. And actually, we try to measure the science in the other areas. The communication skills are, can you take some thoughts very quickly and put it down on a piece of paper and make a coherent statement out of it. Some of them, they didn't have that before I hired them, by the way. So they found out after